I want those of you who've been with me from the beginning of this incredible journey to be the first to know that I'm with her. I am fired up, and I cannot wait to get out there and campaign for Hillary.
When a career prosecutor or an FBI agent who's working on the Clinton investigation hears this president speak openly of how he wants Hillary Clinton to succeed him, you don't think that that career prosecutor or that FBI agent takes that as some indication of how the president wants to see this case resolved?
No. I think that those career prosecutors understand that they have a job to do, and that job that they are supposed to do, which is to follow the facts, to pursue the evidence to a logical conclusion. And that's why the president, when discussing this issue in each stage, has reiterated his commitment to this principle that any criminal investigation should be conducted independent of any sort of political interference.
Well, you see the back and forth at the White House. Josh Earnest saying a criminal investigation was interesting about the investigation perhaps going on now and not completed, yet the president has endorsed Hillary Clinton. That sparked the GOP opponent to weigh in, as you might imagine he would, on Twitter. Donald Trump tweeting, Obama just endorsed crooked Hillary. He wants 4 more years of Obama, but no one else does. Hillary Clinton's campaign then tweeted this: delete your account. At which point the head of the RNC tweeted, Hillary Clinton, if anyone knows how to use a delete key, it's you. And then back to Donald Trump, how long did it take you, your staff of 823 people, to think that up, and where are your 33,000 emails that you deleted? So it was a full active day on Twitter today. Let's bring in our expanded panel. Judge Andrew Napolitano, Fox News senior judicial analyst, say that twice. Charles Lane, opinion writer for The Washington Post. Mercedes Schlapp, columnist for The Washington Times and syndicated columnist. Charles Krauthammer. Okay, Judge, first on this, not the politics, but just the endorsement itself as this investigation is going on.
It creates a profound legal conundrum for the career prosecutors and FBI agents who have been investigating Mrs. Clinton. There are 2 teams of investigations. They are separate from each other. They are 2 elite teams. One concentrates on national security. The other concentrates on public corruption. And quite frankly, the question that our colleague James Rosen put to Josh Earnest goes right to the heart of the matter. What message is the president sending to these teams? So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is a technical legal conflict. Can the president and can the attorney general who works for him and can the director of the FBI who works for her possibly be influenced by the president's wish that the subject of their criminal investigations should succeed him? And if they are they still in a position to make determinations, or should an independent thinker with real authority, called a special counsel, be appointed?
Chuck.
Well, we got rid of the special counsels a few years ago because they started running amok, so let's not forget that. I honestly don't think this changes anything that has been going on all along. It makes it official in some formal sense. He endorses her for president, but the politics of this have always been the same. She is a Democrat. He's a Democrat. It's in their joint political interest that she not be indicted. That's been true all along. So I don't think the actual incentives that the folks in the Justice Department face have changed at all. And just, you know, a small point on the FBI director. Yes, he is on the flow chart. He's below the Attorney General, but he does have that 10-year term to protect him from political pressure, so he has some independence that way.
Mercedes, yesterday Hillary Clinton said that she had not talked to the FBI, even though some of her people have been interviewed. She had not talked to anybody in the DOJ. Today the White House said the president has not talked to Hillary Clinton about this case. But she also expressed 100% confidence that it's not going to result in anything.
And remember, she joked about the email server last year. Do we wipe the server off with a cloth? This is something that I think Hillary Clinton, for her own Democratic base, is trying to calm them, say this is under control, this is not a big deal. Remember, she referred to the investigation as a security inquiry, which James Comey came back and said, we don't do inquiries here, we do investigations. This investigation will be haunting her campaign until the FBI makes a decision. And for for her to try to keep calm, keep her base calm, is the only way for them to say, okay, this is not a big deal. But we know, in fact, that she is literally the first woman presidential candidate who is being investigated by the FBI.
Last thing on this, and this is just an exchange where I asked her about not talking to the State Department Inspector General, and this is what the Secretary said about that back and forth.
I think that report actually supported what I have been saying for years. The rules were not clarified.
Well, you said hundreds of people knew about the private email, and
the practice was used by other secretaries of state. I've said it was a mistake. I certainly wouldn't do it again.
The challenges of a satellite interview in different places, but she said it proves what I was saying all along. Well, actually, the report said that people didn't know, and in fact, Judicial Watch released some sworn testimony by Karen Lang. Lang testified that the key State Department federal record-keeping officials did not know that former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and her top aide, Abedin, were using non-state .gov email to conduct government business. And the report goes on to say, nor would they have allowed it.
Look, she has her story, and she sticks with it. That's one of her strengths for the last 30 years. She and her husband will come up with a story, and they'll stay with it until it's no longer tenable. And when she says to you, or she said elsewhere as well, she's 100% confident there's going to be no indictment, well, that's the line you'd want to take, because after all, if she's right, nobody will remember. If she's wrong and she is indicted, the story is not going to be Hillary had once wrongly predicted her indictment. The story is going to be the indictment, so she loses nothing by saying, or if you like, pretending that she's worried about nothing.
Let's look at the polls. A new poll out today, the Fox News poll at the top of the hour. You can see the now and then. Clinton now with a slight lead over Donald Trump. It's within the margin of error, but you can see how much he has dropped since the last time we polled. Fox poll number 2, you add Libertarian Gary Johnson into this, who has ticked up now to 12%. Remember, 15% is the cutoff for getting on that debate stage, and there you see it, 39-36. What about this, Chuck? And is this showing that those days have taken a toll on Donald Trump, at least this one poll?
You got to assume that he took so much incoming over the last couple of weeks that it showed up in that poll, in particular because a lot of the incoming was from fellow Republicans. Paul Ryan endorsed him, and then the very next day had to say that what he said was racist. Mitch McConnell has been publicly lecturing him, telling him to shape up. And I got to say, I think this was, again, one of those passages in the campaign where for the first time, I thought at least, I detected that Trump was a little rattled. He realized at a certain point, remember when he said, okay, I was misconstrued, but now I'm going to talk about this anymore at all. That was about as close as he ever gets to an apology or backing down. And I think, you know, he took on some water.
Judge, let's look at Fox poll number 7. Some bad news in here for Hillary Clinton. Is Clinton lying about how her emails were handled? Did you see the demographic breakdown there? 35% of Democrats saying she's not telling the truth.
Well, I think that the questions about her integrity have begun to resonate with Democrats. I mean, John Podesta himself, about 7 or 8 days ago, that's the general chair of her campaign, sent a memo to donors with the basic talking points that Mrs. Clinton herself has articulated, but it's the first time they sent something like that out because they probably have seen their own internal polling which shows this. I would suggest to you that the more damning number there is the independents number. She can't, if every Democrat in the country votes for her, she still won't win. She needs the votes of independents who now say, by number 64%, they think she's lying.
Tonight, Elizabeth Warren will endorse Hillary Clinton. We had the president today. The Massachusetts senator will throw her hat in the ring. Yet Bernie Sanders is out saying, I'm going to compete in D.C., and I'm going to take my case to the convention.
Well, I think what we're seeing is a carefully orchestrated rollout of the come down. This is not the helter-skelter running for the exits that happened on the GOP side at the end of the Indiana night where everybody pulled out and it was over. This is carefully orchestrated. Sanders, who's been on the outs, gets the royal tour today, the royal reception. He's never seen the inside of these institutions. The vice president, the president, the leader of the Senate honor him. He then steps out and says, I'll be in another week, which is a way of saying I've been given a decent interval. Of course he'll withdraw at that point. and everybody is doing his or her part. It's all, and he said he's going to meet with Hillary. That will be the point at which he formally hands over his sword, and he will have negotiated the quid pro quo inside his own Appomattox.